There's a moment that almost every blogger has. You're working on something, you've got a plan, you've started making progress, and then a thought hits you. What if this isn't the best way? And just like that, you open a tab, you watch a new training, and you start mapping out an entirely new idea. Not because what you were doing was wrong, but because something else suddenly feels better, or smarter, faster, or more promising. So you pivot again and again. And the frustrating part, you're not lazy, you're not even inconsistent, and you're certainly not lacking ideas. You're just stuck in a loop that feels productive, but is actually quietly keeping you from results. And today, we're going to break that loop.
Welcome to today's training, how to get out of the I'll just try this too cycle. Have you been there? But we're not just talking about strategy. We're talking about behavior, because this cycle isn't really about blogging. It's about something that gets overlooked in blogging. It's about your mind. It's about how you respond to discomfort, to doubt, and to delayed responses. And this is especially for you if you get excited about new ideas really quickly. Is that you? This is for you if you second guess your current plan all the time or ever. This is for you if you feel a pull towards better or faster strategies. And this is for you if you have a lot of half-finished things behind you.
So before we dig in, I want you to text the word steady to 251-644-6701 to get your free printable.
Yep.
Okay, what are you going to learn today? You're going to learn why your brain keeps pulling you toward new ideas, the emotional trigger that causes you to pivot too soon, how trying one more thing becomes a hidden form of avoidance, procrastination. Yeah. The difference between strategic pivots, and reactive pivots. Those are hard to say together. And how to stay with something even when it stops feeling exciting.
A privet sounds like something a frog does. Privet. All right, what are you going to walk away with? That's really important, because we want to make sure that you walk away with something that you can utilize. So you're going to walk away with a completely different understanding of why you keep switching. You're going to walk away with relief from thinking that you lack discipline. That's not what this is about. You're going to walk away with a way to recognize when you're about to break your own momentum, which is important when you're in that place where you feel like it's just little bitty wins, little bitty progress, but it's about to break, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to walk away with one shift that helps you stay consistent, even when it feels completely uncomfortable. That's called stretching, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, right? So let's be honest about something that most people don't say. You're not switching because you love new ideas. You're switching because something about the path that you are currently in got uncomfortable. Maybe it's not working as fast as you hoped. Maybe you're unsure if you're doing it right. Maybe you're not seeing results fast enough, or it feels repetitive and you're bored. So you start doubting yourself.
Yeah, so remember how I said that this was really about your mind, right? So here's what happens when all of those things happen. Your brain does something really, really clever. That's normal. It offers you relief through a new idea. Because a new idea, Kelly said in another training, it's dopamine, right? But it also feels like progress. It also feels like clarity. It also feels like momentum. It also feels like hope. And it actually is just a reset. And every reset costs you traction, right? Because it's pulling you away from something else.
Right. So what it's called the relief loop. And what's actually happening, you start something, you hit discomfort, you feel doubt, you find a new idea, you feel relief, you switch, you repeat. That's the loop. It's not a strategy problem. It's a relief problem. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
And with all the difficulties that have happened in our industry for the last year and a half, people want relief, right? But you have to stay consistent. So let's talk about why smart people get stuck here. This is really important. This cycle is most common in people who are capable, who are driven, who are resourceful, who are willing to learn. You, me, Kelly, all of us.
Pretty much anybody who's an entrepreneur running a business, that, especially an accidental business.
Right.
That's what we do. That's our brain. That's how we work. That's how we problem solve, right?
And because you are good at finding solutions.
So good.
And every time something feels off, you go looking for a better answer because that's how you're wired, because you're an entrepreneur. And then you find one.
You're going to.
Time. Because solutions are out there and you're smart and you're going to find them, and you do. But finding better ideas isn't the problem. Leaving good ideas too early is the problem.
So let's talk about the cost here. The cost that people don't talk about, because you know why? There's no money in telling you how to fix your brain unless you're a psychologist. But in coaching, I can't make you change. I can just give you more information, right? So here, I'm going to tell you anyway. The cost that no one talks about is that every time you switch, you lose compounding effort, you lose clarity, you lose confidence, you lose data. It's very important in this field, and you lose momentum. You also train yourself to believe that this probably won't work either. You start creating that negativity that compounds, and that belief follows you into the next thing and the next thing. So even when you finally land on something that could work, you don't stay long enough to let it.
Right. So what does that look like? What does the shift from relief to commitment look like? Okay. How do we break this? Not by finding the perfect strategy, but by changing how you respond when things stop feeling good. Right? Because here's the truth. The moment that you want to switch is often the exact moment that you should stay. That's where the growth is. That's where most people quit. That's where results start forming, but they aren't visible, right? So for me, with my Facebook, I'm like, well, I made $0 today. I made $0. Now I made 1 penny. Now I made 2 pennies. Now I made 5 pennies, but it felt so small. And just when you want to give up, finally, for me, it was day 24. I say day 21 just because it's 3 weeks, but day 24, things changed completely. And if
what if she had quit at day 21?
Right. That's right.
3 days before things changed completely.
Exactly. So you got to keep going.
So I want you to understand that not all pivots are bad, okay? But there is a big difference in a reactive pivot and a strategic pivot.
I agree.
Right? We always want to be proactive, which is strategy, not reactive, right? Putting out fires constantly. So a reactive pivot is, I feel unsure, so I'm going to try something else. This doesn't feel good, so I'm going to try something else. I don't think this is working, so I'm going to try something else. A strategic pivot is, I gave this focused effort for a defined period of time. I have data. Now I'm going to use that data to adjust. Most of us, most people out there do not pivot strategically. They pivot emotionally.
It's true. So, a simple pause. The next time that you think, should I try this too? I want you to pause and ask yourself, am I moving towards something, or am I escaping something? That question changes everything, because if you're escaping discomfort, switching isn't going to fix it. It just follows you.
You know, I literally had this conversation with one of my children not too terribly long ago. They, a self-confidence thing. And if I lose weight, then I'll have self-confidence. Or if I get muscle, then I'll have self-confidence. Or if I get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, then I'll have self-confidence. Or if I get, right? No, because those are all outside things. And until you actually have self-confidence, nothing that you add to your life is going to give it to you, right? Until you understand strategy, nothing you choose is going to give it to you. until you say to yourself, I have the willpower to see this through for 90 days, for 180 days, for 12 months, for whatever it is. And no matter what fine, fancy, shiny thing comes my way, I am not going to emotionally change it. Right?
Yep. So true. So true. Did you already say all of this?
Yeah. Emotional.
All of this?
Maybe. So instead of asking, is this the best strategy? Start asking, have I honored my commitment to this long enough to judge it? That's such a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Have I honored my commitment to this long enough to judge it?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we say. I don't know. Has 1,000 people seen it? Because if 1,000 people hadn't seen it, then we can't make no decision. We don't have enough data to make a decision.
Right. Judging it equals data. Okay.
Right? We don't feel. We don't think. We know.
Mm-hmm. True.
Set a window. I suggest 90 days minimum. Minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, don't add, don't pivot, don't chase. And that's very blanket statement because it really depends on what you're doing, right? Because if you're testing an opt-in and you get 1,000 eyes on that opt-in in 12 days, you don't need to wait 90 days. You've got 1,000 eyes, you've got data. So it really depends on what it is. But yeah, for the most part, just execute 90 days.
Yep. So you don't need to stop having ideas. Ideas are good, but you need to stop. You need to stop giving every idea attention. Okay. Because ideas are always going to come, but results only come when you stay committed, when you follow through, when you let something work, when you let the efforts compound, when you let the data compound, that's when it's going to pay off. Okay.
So if you're realizing, I don't actually trust myself to stick with something, that's not a strategy issue. That's a confidence plus structure issue. And that's exactly why Crystal and I created the 90-day planner and the blogging confidence operating system. The planner gives you structure. Confidence OS helps you stay steady when your brain wants to switch, because staying is a skill. And most people have never been taught how to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to sit in the uncomfortable.
And we live in a world that's such instant gratification. It's hard, even if you were taught that. So this week, try this. The next time you feel the urge to start something new, don't act on it immediately. Write it down. Wait 48 hours and then ask, do I still believe this is the best move? Or did I just want relief? The pause alone is going to break that cycle for most of you. Okay. You don't have a lack of ideas. You've got great ideas. You have a habit of leaving too soon. And really, that's the big deal here. And once you finally see that, that's when you can make change, and that's when you can have growth.
Yeah. You can stay. You can build. You can finally see it through. And that's where that real growth happens. It happens in the uncomfortable. It happens in the staying. It happens in the steady.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So if you want the printable that goes along with today's training, text the word steady 251-644-6701. If you text that number and you don't get the printable, that means you D&D'd us. So here's how you fix that. If you want to fix it, you're going to text the word start and only the word start and wait about 15 seconds. Then text the word steady and it should get you back into the process. And then every time you say stop and or D&D us or get out of our, push back on our opt-ins, you're going to have to go through this process over and over again. Okay. So we honor the fact that we don't want to spam you. We only send you things when you ask for them. And then we email when new videos go live, or very minimal. Like, you're not going to
have a new product or a big sale going on. But yeah, Crystal's right. We don't text or email very often, especially text, because we have to pay for every single one of those we send.
Yeah, exactly. And that needs to convert to money. So yeah, we don't.
You know how this business works.
Exactly. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. And you're not that far away. You can change this. We want you to get out of this cycle. And we've told you how to do it. And your business can look completely different 90 days from now if you will just buckle in. Okay.
Right?
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.